ethnographic documentaries especially, you run into it, which is that people tell stories to define themselves. First of all, to themselves. We are the people who, a lot of, if you study Native American peoples, most of the nations or tribes have a story, a creation story, but then they'll also have a historical story. We are the people who lost the corn, and then we moved away from the Great Lakes and became the people of the horse, and started riding around and being nomadic. Our movie Secret of Romaninish is very much based on oral history, and the Irish are full of those stories of we are the people who, usually, and then we got in a fight with the British at the end. But it's a story about who we are. And so those stories are, first of all, self-definition, and then almost like we're going to tell the world who we are. And there are those stories, and there are a lot of American movies. Some of you may have seen Amigo, especially American war movies, are about we're the people who came and saved the world from the Nazis, or we're the people who got rid of the British, or whatever. And those are kind of declarative ones. And then there are dream stories, and I think most commercial movies today are dream stories. They're about who we might be if we could be anybody we wanted to be. If we had skills beyond what we probably really have, or abilities. If we could fly, if we could, see through walls or whatever. And those are the kind of superhero stories. And there's a nightmare side to them too. So, zombie and vampire things are very, very popular. If you go into a bookstore now and you see teen reading, almost all teen reading now has something to do with vampires or zombies. But it's imaginative, and it reveals something about the dreamer, and it satisfies something. And then the final thing, which most of my movies deal with, is stories that are about trying to figure out what the hell is going on. With the world, with people's heads, or whatever. And so many of the movies I've made, or even the fiction that I've written, have started with this basic question of mine. And I got to go to college, and I was a psych major. I didn't take any English classes. There were no film classes, so to speak. There wasn't a drama major or any of that stuff. I was a psych major. I was interested in human beings. And a lot of the stories I tell come down to this question of, if people are acting this way, what can possibly be going through their heads? And you want to psych them out and try to get into their heads and figure out, okay, what's this all about? I wrote a novel called Los Gusanos that has to deal with a Cuban community in Miami, and that came very much from when I was a kid. My mother's parents lived in Hollywood, Florida, just north of Miami, and I saw the city of Miami before, during, and after the Cuban Revolution. Who are these people? They speak a language we don't speak. Where did they come from? Why did they come? What's their story? And to write that novel, I had to learn Spanish. And so you have to do some work to get in there far enough to come back and tell the tale of what you've learned. But an awful lot of my stories are me not knowing enough to really feel confident about something, but being interested enough to take the journey, and then you feel like, okay, I know enough now to at least tell something useful when I come back in the story.